Genius of the team.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We got another chart talk coming at you. It is Tuesday, November 15th. We got the markets ripping higher. So last week we got a CPI report. Inflation came in light. It suggests inflation has peaked and the markets took off on that notion. So then today, this morning, we got the PPI, the Producer Price Index, which is another measure of inflation, more from the supply side of things, that also came in light, and the market continued to rally on that notion. So, my view in this with this rally is that, these bear market rallies, you listen to any of these old guys talk, any of the Soros and the Druckenmiller, all they talk about, and this is what I was talking about in the call I just had, you got to keep your size down in these bear markets, because the moves, even if if you're right, your idea, you can get pushed out because the moves are just so vicious. And we saw that 7.5% day for the NASDAQ last Thursday. Just insane numbers. I don't think it's the start of a fresh bull market. I think this rally has much more legs. I think this rally could go to 4,200 in the SPX. Let me bring up my little chart here to give a little better idea of what I'm talking about here. All right, so we got the SPY here up, and we're seeing this significant resistance at the 200-day simple moving average, and now it's just too easy to touch this 200-day simple moving average and sell off. So what we do, in my eyes, we rip the doors off this 200-day simple moving average, and then that'll lead us to the next leg lower. And the last point I'll make is we've kind of had in all these bear market rallies, they've all kind of been very similar, and in that they'd run to this trend line and then just immediately stop. The one thing I looked at in the past bear markets, they had this one final leg up that was just like a ridiculous leg up. It happened in 2002, happened in 2008, and it was very different from the bear market rallies before. And that's kind of what I'm thinking happens with this rally. That's why I think we blow the doors off 200 SMA, because it's like just obvious. It's a very obvious level of resistance.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's my kind of view of things. It's a crazy market, man. These moves every day. I did not expect to see the market rip like that higher on the PPI report, because we've been up so much. But that's kind of what they talk about, the bear market rallies. So that's really all I got with that. What are your thoughts over there?
I got a couple sectors. You touch on the SPY, some again very similar. Again, energy is still holding up here pretty well. At this little retest area, we see kind of buyers kind of pushing through a little bit for now. Still going to take some profits up here. 10-year continuing to break that steep uptrend that it's been on for the past few months now.
Let me stop you for 1 second. I had a funny story. So I'm trying to buy a house out here. I'm trying to lock in a mortgage, and this guy, the salesman in him just wants me to lock it in. So the deal's done. I'm just like, hold off. So then Friday, after Thursday happens, he's like, Friday, like rates are up today. They're only down because of the election. And I'm like, listen, guy, they're down because of peak inflation, blah, blah, blah. And now he's like, all right, wow. I'm going to sign up for trading experts after this shit. And I got 3 guys I want to sign up. I'm like, whatever, just hold off on these rates. They're going to come down 3.5. But yeah.
That was, again, my same point. I was going to have this line drawn out here, where in the short term, we could expect that bounce to like 3.5. Right. I still think we can see kind of end year probably back in the 3s. Again, it's always when I was wrong this last little push up higher, but once that uptrend starts to break, it's like the stairs up, elevator back down.
Yeah,
and
hopefully that'd be great. That'd be great.
And again, for you who are trying to buy a house in California, it's great for you, and for most people drive home, we obviously want lower rates.
I mean, it'd be great for the market. It'd be great for everybody.
Yeah,
I just for Higgins, it'd be a bull market again, but it'd be good for everyone else.
He's gonna stop shorting every day. But yeah, I think in the short term, I think we see this bounce of 3.5. I think you get some bounce off of that, but again, with the mortgage owner, he wants to lock everyone in because he wants to get paid. But
We wait a couple days. He knows I'm getting 600 calls a day.
Yeah, a couple other things in the Dow. I think this is one of the key things. I think we're shifting more into this broader range-bound market than the obvious breakdown things we've been in. So now that we see, I'm going to delete these lines because they get confusing. We've had this horizontal downtrend for most of the year, or diagonal. I'm sorry. And now we're starting to get this more horizontal resistance at this, 34,000 in the Dow. but we're shifting. The point is we're shifting out of that downtrend more into kind of that range bound. And this is again a massive range here. So this is really not the time.
Sick move.
Yeah, this is like not the time to be. If you're super bullish up here, that should be a huge red flag where you got to be, in these range bound markets when they're at resistance. This is time to take some profits, and we're seeing that in a lot of these sectors. Healthcare, financials at a major resistance level since May. It's every time it runs up here, again, we're seeing more of that that horizontal resistance. But up here, we were talking about 2 weeks ago buying the financials through 80. It's 10% plus higher 2 weeks later. This is when you want to take profits. Materials, kind of same story. We were buying this up through 160 a couple weeks ago. Now it's at 180. Same with IBB finally breaking out or starting to break out of its base. Consumer discretionary is the one sector. It looks like a massive bear flag, but one that's kind of, I guess, a little late to the party. Probably with Amazon just kind of getting smoked. What's keeping it down? Yeah. But what were you gonna say?
I think these and the NASDAQ names, more so the growth names, these are the ones playing catch up right now. It's like not indicative of a new bull market or anything, but you're seeing Shopify like 25% off lows and things like that. So I think this is where we see the catch up happen. And the the value names like in the Dow Jones, those are the names we're going to see cool off. And it would make sense for the narrative of inflation cooling, which lets the long duration assets like growth stocks run and things like that. So I mean, it all makes sense from a story standpoint.
Yeah, this is a great time. I was talking. I know you had talked with Blake before. Me and him were discussing about some hits he had, and this was like a great time where, like, if you're in names you don't love, and you're back above your cost basis, you're back in profit and you don't really like the name long term.
Time to hit the bricks.
This is the time to like clean up because you're given this gift of a rally that you don't want to just, now that you're up in it, I want to hold it forever. When you're back down below your cost basis, you want to get rid of it. So this is a good time. You don't have things you really enjoy to hold long term, and you're up in them. This, I think, is a great time to lighten the load a little bit. But that's again, just while I'm here, I guess I'm going to go over really quick. Good and bad trade and a couple of top ideas just while I get this thing up. So getting talking about trades kind of reversing this. Humana reversed basically back to my price.
Did you hear what happened with this shit? I don't know if we got a chance to talk about it. So the entire sector started to sell off because LLY. Check out LLY. I swear to God. The fake tweet.
Yeah.
The fake tweet. And then it brought the whole healthcare sector down. And it has been up since.
Yeah.
LLY. It was that day, but the entire sector made the same move and they're still pushing lower. It's like, that's banana land. Like, I want nothing to do with that shit. A fake tweet.
Yeah. Well, so Elon had that, like, you can buy the blue check basically now, which I think is the corniest thing, because the whole point of it is like it being exclusive. Like, you have to kind of, even though he said people were like, soldiers were paying to get the blue check, but when everyone can get it, it's like there's no fun to it. But it's hilarious that they.
Shouts out to the software guy Jan, who's verified on Instagram. What were you saying?
No, but it's just like I saw a bunch of memes like when they redid Eli Lilly. They redid a bunch of companies, like just like basically.
Oh, that's so funny! It's so funny. It's they did like George Bush, and it'd just be like fuck Iraq, like there's so many of it.
Yeah.
He's just trying to make some money for the company.
Yeah.
He's trying to sell it, re-IPO it in 2-3 years.
Yeah, I think that was just kind of like the blue check thing. I think is like a little corny. That I think that makes it like that exclusiveness of it that takes it away. But again, I think they have to kind of chuck that because he just killed a bunch of company stocks. Where again, for me, luckily, I got out before that news came out, and not that I knew about it, I just had a trailing stop in.
Pretty opportune time for you to get out of the trade. People start to talk.
So yeah, that was just again, obviously maybe a support buyback or sneaky buyback when it flushes down through this 500 area, really down through here. Maybe there's a potential trade in it when everyone realizes that this did sell off for, a stupid tweet.
It's just such a remarkable move for that to be just ripped and just given back so quickly. 12% in, a mega cap healthcare name just given back so quickly.
Yeah. But this is almost where it's like even more for like that sneaky buyback of, again, it's probably still going to shake out like some significant pivot here. It's not going to just hold like 500 perfectly in reverse. But this is a perfect, I think not perfect, but a good example of that trade where Humana didn't really get affected. They just got caught with this like meme or this joke of a tweet. that the
Yeah, well, it
company.
also adds to the growth and value thing. Like it makes sense
Mhm.
story wise. If that never happened and they sold off, be like, oh, it's a flight to growth stocks and value
Yeah,
stocks again.
yeah. So again, I'll keep an eye on this. Again, not trying to catch a low, but if I see some capitulation and some little doji reversal, maybe I'll look for some type of reentry back up through this 510 in time, but not anytime soon. Couple things to keep an eye on. Again, this Regeneron still setting up through this 750 area. I know it's been a little tricky and not as clean, but still, top right, all-time high breakout. DCP still
I'm
kind of
hoping that
flat.
Regeneron just tightens up.
Yeah, it's just like a little,
Fucks around up here and then just gets really tight under 760. I really
yeah,
like that one.
yeah. This DCP still kind of flagging here again in that oil energy space, still pretty tight, $2 risk. CIBI, I'm not too fond of it. Has been trading lately, but still kind of setting up here. Earnings are out of the way. And this SJM, just like that, Regeneron, like those sneaky buybacks. Where I'm not trying to buy it down here. I only want to buy it back up through here whenever that is going to be the case.
But so yeah, look at that price action, and it's kind of the same as Humana, and it's just a value name. Smucker's, they make money, profitable company, value stock, and that's how value names got treated in this run up. The market's up 10% in the time of those last 4 days. And this is down what? I don't know, 6%.
Yeah. So just a couple names again. I think right now, just unless it's really, really A plus, I think this is more kind of lightening the load and being patient, not getting trapped in this. But again, I think.
Oh yeah, you go.
I just think broad. I think that we're kind of, I don't say out of the woods entirely, but I think that we're starting to get some more legs onto this market where it's not this, continuous downtrend into 2023. I think we're starting to really start to move into more of that kind of basing area, even though it's super wide still.
I hope so. I don't think so. I think we just haven't seen the worst of it yet. I think we're starting to see the layoffs now, and we'll see the unemployment rise and shit like that. Even the Fed, even Jerome Powell said, what did he say? The window to a soft landing is narrowing. So it's like, hold on. So he's the one ringing the alarm. He's giving everyone a heads up for it. But there's a few charts I like. I'll go over them real quick. Man, I love this CELH. I made a trade of the week, and it gave us this beautiful inside day right at this, right at this resistance level, 95.50. You look on a macro chart, the cup and handle is just gorgeous. And then if you look at their earnings, let's check out their earnings real quick. So boom, revenue up 98% on the year, gross profit up 109%. So it's got, the short-term chart, the earnings demand, the long-term chart, and the fundamentals. That's like, that's the most A plus setup you can get. So yesterday they trigger us in. I buy a bunch yesterday, and the way it closed, I get out of like 70% of it, and then I give the rest the proper room. So I was just playing off the inside day. It closes like crap. It's like I'll probably get another chance of that. And then today it just gaps up strong all day, like no re-entry unless you want to just buy 96, 97. So I have like a third of the stock I should have, and I took a massive loss on that, the first chunk I bought. So this one is going straight to 150. Absolutely, because it's just too good of a setup at this point. Then the one I like that I'm still in is this BTU. This is a coal stock, but just from a chart perspective, their earnings were great. I went over them. This was trade of the week a few weeks ago. They kind of broke out too early, backed into the 8-day simple moving average, used that as support, just been kind of grinding higher. So today, end of day, when I saw it still very strong, when the market was selling off, today on is Russia sending Poland missiles? I don't know. But regardless, this BTU looks amazing through this 29 area. Given half to 27, half to 26 area, I think this one could really go. And then name we got in today, that I've been wanting to get in the short was this Tesla. And I feel like I felt like I missed it last week when it just kind of collapsed and it gets bid with the market, and theoretically, I just think it's one of the only stocks that really hasn't gotten too crushed. And Elon just seems like he's taking his eye off the ball. But today, what we were watching, now the market's getting bid up like crazy, and we're talking about a potential swing trade in it. And we were saying if it crushes this 197, we're going to get involved to the short side. So, it did. I had a feeler like 198, and then I just had a sell stop trigger through 197. And now I'm sitting, 197 versus 201. And now if the market does want to pull in tomorrow, this is just like a beautiful macro retest of support. Rises into it, retests that resistance, that support turn now resistance area, and that could really puke it down to like 170, let's say.
Mhm.
A big risk, $4 risk, potential 25, 30 to the upside. So definitely like that one. But we'll see. We'll see what we get tomorrow. That's really all I got chart wise. I mean, there's a million charts, but it seems like market's up 10%. A lot of names run with it. Market's down 5%. Names get smoked with it. So it's a tricky market. Definitely want to be very selective. That's in a couple of the calls today. I was just talking about selectivity. Those the main points of the call. But that's really it. Take things day by day in this market.
Mhm.
We get so much conflicting news. What seems like every other day. So it's hard to have a view more than a few weeks out for myself. I don't know about you.
Yeah. We haven't talked about this like FTX exchange craziness.
Yeah, it's crazy how he's not in jail.
Well, so I saw so I saw
should we start the crypto exchange?
So we're looking at unemployment. I know that's going to be like a big thing now, but we also want to there's like the narrative or the fear of it, and then there's like what the numbers are now. So like current unemployment rate is super low. We're back to kind of pre-pandemic numbers. So even if it does rise a little bit, again, this is just that kind of COVID spike when everyone's couldn't go to the office for a couple of weeks. But unemployment is scary. They're going to make that as a headline.
If unemployment stays low and wages stay high, then people keep spending, and then this inflation problem gets worse. That's the theory.
Okay. Well,
it's not like things are bad now. It's like things are good now, but inflation is crazy, and Powell's just trying to make things shit the bed so that inflation comes down.
Yeah, makes sense. So I saw somewhere where this guy was, first off, if you ever saw the place he was living, it was a $40 million penthouse in Bahamas, which was.
Did you see the thing? It was pretty sick.
Yeah, but I saw somewhere he charged a jet to. Oh my god, it was
Argentina.
It was like a non-extradition company.
I don't know if that's true. Well, what he did was apparently he just he said, all right, he put out a tweet from FTX that said Bahamian regulators have told us to get their funds off of FTX, and it was $1 billion or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then so that's when he gets it. He puts it all in a fucking USB and just takes it with him. And then but the Bahamian police comes back like, no, we didn't say that. We didn't say that. He just stole all our money. So I don't know what's the latest on it. It's crazy. It's crazy to me this guy's not in jail. Like New York Times put out an article on him. It was like, he's not a bad guy type article. And it was like, what? Like he's Madoff for crypto.
Yeah. I think that puts like a really big stain on the crypto market going forward. Cause now it's like even with like earnings, if like inflation's high, every company uses inflation as the excuse. So during COVID, right. Every company uses COVID as an excuse. And now that you have like this massive fraud, it's like all these other crypto companies can kind of come up like, oh, we're also short, and it's like this negative domino effect of all these people that like, it's like, if there are people saying like they want to get bailed out, it's like the government's not going to bail this company out. Are you kidding? Like they don't want.
Oh yeah, not the government. This is but like another company, maybe.
They're like popping champagne. They're like, are you kidding me? Like we're back in the US dollar. We're not going to back these guys.
Oh yeah, they love this. This is the best thing that happened to the government.
It's like this perfect storm of all those like reasons of why crypto is supposed to be crypto, and it's like this guy like really put a huge.
I think the funniest part is like you've been having people screaming to have fun staying poor and all that stuff, and it was all about the utility of this stuff, and it just goes to prove it was just about the price pumping. Like there's never any like with it should be the most inflation protection thing out there, right? Nope, it's just hyper NASDAQ, like, so yeah. Crazy. Yeah, we're gonna continue to see crypto shit bodies hit the floor. That is a lot of money lost.
Yeah, I mean, but again, in the bigger picture, if that is a bigger shift of people out of the crypto market, they have to go somewhere, and they probably go to a safer place like the U.S. equity market.
Well, yeah, that's actually that's something I made a mistake on. I was like, well, if these funds are involved in it, then they're gonna have to take the losses. Maybe they'll have to liquidate some positions. But then I looked at the numbers and like crypto market is like, I don't know. It's like let me Google it. Like crypto market versus stock market. It's like, I don't know.
Let's see, crypto market cap.
800 billion
Yeah, so it's like losing
versus,
Apple versus US market of
it's 800 billion and Apple is 2.4 trillion.
Yeah, so it's like and you're gonna get like the the debt side of our, so it's like stock market, it's like crypto market's a little, stock market is like a little bigger than you have the debt market, which is like, so
Oh yeah,
it's like,
yeah. Fixed income and things like that.
yeah, so it's,
Oh yeah.
but still it's so wild. It's like all those people. Do you see you had like a friend who just, the money's just gone? There's nothing in the account.
What?
Did you see you had like a buddy that like had
So I had a buddy.
had-
So I had a buddy, and it's funny because he was sounding the alarms to all his friends. Yo, get your money off this exchange. Blah blah blah. And I have these texts from him the same day. He's like, BlockFi is gonna be fine. And then like 4 hours later, he's like, how do I get my money off BlockFi? But out of nowhere, he just got a 50K injection of liquidity yesterday. He's like, let's fuck, we going to Miami? Like, so he got his money back. I know that because he acted that day, he got it back. But his 4 friends we texted, they all lost, collectively 650 grand or something like that.
Oh my God.
And I'm reading some of these, we're like kind of joking on it, but then I'm reading some of these guys who are just like good guys who had like crypto funds, and he's just like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have had the trust in FTX. I lost 1.5 billion. It's all gone. It's
and it's like it's overnight.
Yeah, it's like, whew.
As much as I don't like to say any regulation, but I mean, like that's
that's the funny thing. It's like, what's the guy from Shark Tank, the bald guy, Mr. Wonderful?
Mhm.
He was FTX's
like the spokesman,
spokesman, and now he's throwing like videos up like there needs to be regulation in crypto, and it's like, well, where the fuck were you when you were making?
It's like it's convenient now that you're preaching that when there was videos of him saying like I'm a paid spokesperson for them, and then also he likes it, which is like, I guess he has to say that like for legal reasons, but a lot of people, I feel like, even like Tom Brady, I feel like there's a lot of people like that are just looking really, really silly right now.
Yeah, and now his ex-wife is dating her jiu-jitsu instructor. How's that?
But I saw there's a video of Tom Brady with that guy, and
I saw it. And he's like, "Where are you going?"
And he just walks out. It's like, and that's just like him saying like Tom Brady's a mark. Like he's just like the spokesman. Like I don't give
exactly.
Oh God, it's rough for those guys right now. But
yeah.
All right, I think we wrapped it up.
Yeah. All right. With that, guys, we will catch you next week.